Alright guys, this is Jammo2K7. Welcome to my review of the Team of the Week version of Victor Moses. This is the first in a new series where I'll be looking at different Ultimate Team players and other FIFA related content, so if you have any ideas or tips for me, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Moses is a right winger with an 83 overall rating, which is a pretty good boost compared to the 77 original. It's also a positional change, considering he can operate on either wing. He plays for Chelsea in the Premier League and he's a Nigerian international. I've circled him in the following clips. I'm going to take you through my impressions of him so far. I used him for about 15 games. They were seasons and FUT Champions qualifiers because I reckon it gives an accurate representation of just what the player has to offer. So, what does Moses have to offer? Despite what you're seeing, he's not the best dribbler and his shooting does leave a little to be desired, especially in comparison to similar 80 to 85 rated Premier League wingers when you consider the +6 boost. Regardless, his defensive contribution in the final third is nothing to be sniffed at, and his crossing is overpowered, especially if you can get across to the byline or the 6-yard box. His strength also has to be mentioned. When you see him here, he's strong enough to win the first ball, and his strength easily allows him to get away from the defender. I do think that his pace stat is slightly deceptive, and he's not as fast as I was expecting before I got the card, but he's still nippy enough to get away from the defender as long as the pass is good. Although he does struggle against the faster wing-back like Walker and Klein. Yeah, as I said before, his crossing is very good. Despite what you're seeing on screen, he didn't really get many goals for me. He was more of a provider than a goal scorer or a poacher, but it was more about his all-round contribution in the final third. Yeah, once again, his tackling is better than comparable players, although it is low in comparison to his real-life form for the Blues, where he has proved to be incredibly effective in a wing-back role under Antonio Conte. He consistently earned 9.4 and 9.5 ratings for me, and I was trying not to overuse him to make it fair. Then again, we all know how FIFA's player ratings can be wildly inaccurate, to say the least. Even so, I did notice a difference when he was on the pitch, and he's a great team player. Yeah, so here, he was in a decent position, and I had to force him forward with L1, because he's actually pretty lazy in terms of support play and support runs, but if you do like crossing, I would advise you to get Victor Moses. His positioning can be strange at times, and he was best when I was actually forcing him to run, but once he does get moving, he does tend to get into good positions and it's nearly always worth it. In terms of crossing or sweaty wing play, I'd definitely try out the normal card at the very least, considering his strength and tackling, which do set him apart from most. You can definitely offer more balance to your wing, especially if you're attack heavy on the other side. That being said, the card isn't perfect, and he struggled when it came to 1v1 dribblings for me. I mean, I'm not the best dribbler, but I tend to get by, especially against the better centre-backs like Chris Smalling or Koscielny. And people are going to be getting players like that, especially after the Christmas crash. So it's worth considering. Sometimes he would just fall over, and it's obviously disappointing if you're desperately chasing a game at 1-0. I picked Moses up for about 22k, and the price has gone up to nearly double since then. Maybe people are anticipating a winter upgrade, which would be fair considering his form for Chelsea, and that he's only a 77 rated non-rare card. So overall, I'd say he's definitely worth picking up if you can get it for the right price, as long as you lower your expectations in terms of skills and pace. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment or subscribe.